Okay, well, welcome back to my channel. This is going to be kind of a new series. It's going to be about balance, and this is going to be unscripted. So if you enjoy this kind of content, leave a thumbs up and let me know what you think about it too. So yeah, definitely leave a comment down below. We're gonna talk about this. So this is definitely unedited. It's it's gonna be however I try to come up with this, but we're gonna talk about balance here. And so there's a lot of videos out there. There are a lot of helpful videos, and so I figured I'm gonna try to do some of that myself as well because I've tried putting out a lot of interesting, fun content on my channel. Most of it is strategy. So if you're kind of used to the strategic kind of theater that I put out there, that's pretty awesome. Thanks for that. But I also want to put out some other types of content as well that are kind of helpful in a way. And it's sort of what I tried to start this channel upon with some earlier videos, and I never really kind of got back into that. I just kind of went along with the whole game thing because doing game stuff is very easy, and it just kind of draws you into that. But what I want to talk about with balance here is that there's a lot of people out there that put up a lot of content as far as like telling you like, oh, if you want to do this, just do it, just go for it, just do it. But there are some presuppositions that actually come before that, and one of them is balancing your time. And so I'll talk a little bit about that here, and I can't go into too much length. There's not too much to talk about. But if you can't balance your time, you're not going to be able to really do anything. So if your mind is like going this way and that way and thinking all over the place, I don't know what I don't know what I want to do. I want to do this. I want to do that. I want to, go here and I want to do that. Your mind's all over the place. You're just never going to be able to really do a lot of that. You might one day, like if you actually have the action to go ahead and do it, you might like travel to this place and then travel to that place, and you could be all over the place. But as far as like concentrating on a particular goal, that's going to be hard to do, especially if it's something that you want to set up as a series for something. You want to set up this series to be able to do this. And so this also applies for gamers too, that, gamers are coming by to watch what I'm talking about. There's other videos and other things I've done that other people may come here to check this out as well. But if you want to really kind of like push forward with a particular goal or aspect, you actually have to set a time. Now, there's a lot of times as well that like the next day that I'm going to come into, basically the next day, I will write down like a bunch of notes. I'll write down a list. And this was a list that I wrote down that actually I saw somebody else make a video about this. And I don't know if you can kind of like read some of that, but I put a list here, trying to, write down some of the things that I saw in the video. It was about listen to 3 positive songs, reframe, kind of your perspective of life. Try to be 75 to 90% positive. I think I wrote that down now, but there was also one. It was I can't remember what they wrote down, but I just wrote down this as a note. Going negative without going up, going negative without a positive. So there was like something that somebody wrote down, and I just figured I was going to write it down and try to find a way to set this up as, something new that I could do. But this is something that you do when you try to get something set for the next day or try to do something. You just write down your ideas, a notepad, typically. Now, this isn't the laundry list of things that I was going to do. This is something I wanted to write down. But typically what I do is I write it down with a little dash next to it. Then I put a little line in there as a positive, once I actually complete that goal. But if you're going to do stuff to try to balance your life, you need to have, because you're probably going to have already like a set standard thing that you're going to be doing. So like at this particular time, I always do this. At this particular time, I always do that. But if you want to incorporate something new into there, you're going to actually have to write it down at 10 a.m. in the morning. I'm going to do the laundry on this particular day, or 10 a.m. in the morning, I'm going to write my ideas for a story or something to that degree. But if you don't have it written down, or if you don't type it into your phone and have an alarm or something like that set, it's probably just going to go to the wayside. So the first thing you have to have set to try to balance your life in a sense, to be able to accomplish some of these other goals that you want to incorporate into there, versus just doing the same thing every single day, is you need to write it down in a timeline. You actually have to, you don't have to write it down. A lot of people like to type in their phones and, put on their computers and stuff. Personally, me, I'm more of old school. I like to write stuff down and have it there. And then once I'm done, I check it off as I've accomplished it. And that's just one way to, get some control on your life, to be able to, do more things, that you want to get done. And as far as being a gamer goes and all that sort of stuff, yeah, that does apply too. Put in your phone, put an alarm into your phone so that you can actually, be able to, be like, hey, it's time to do this. And so when you set a time too, here's the thing, not many people will tell you this as well, but here's another aspect to that. If you have a time set, like start now, if you only have so much time to work with, you're going to have to put an end time too. So let's say that you were going to put some creative ideas for it, right? 10 a.m., you're going to start writing, a book, a thesis, some comedy act, something. You're going to be able to, put forth some creative ideas to help working with making a video. But let's say you have to roll out, you have to leave at 12 because you have a luncheon, or, lunch, things happen at 12. You have to leave, you got work, you got something else you got to do. You're going to have to make a window, 10 a.m. to 12. And you'll have to stick by that window. If you don't accomplish your goals within that time, and we get to 12 noon, you're going to have to wait till the next day. Or you're going to have to wait till another time. You're like, no, I want to do it that day. Here's the thing. If you have so many other things going on in your life, that you can't fully get to all these things, there are times that you have to let some of these things drop for the next day. Because if you just can't get to it, you just can't get to it. And sometimes life just, throws you, a monkey wrench, and you either dodge it or catch it. Yeah, you have to, have a time schedule as to when you can do this and when you can do that, and it has to be up to a certain time. So let's say, for example, you like to, you're trying to reframe, not just create something new, you're trying to reframe something. Let's say you like to drink alcohol or something like that. One of my mottos that I don't really go into too much detail about is, and I do follow this hardcore, and I think it's a very good one, is never before 9 and not after 12. And personally, I don't go out. Like I used to in the past. I used to go out, and if I went to a bar, or if I went to, some place where they had alcohol or something like that, I would kind of follow those rules. I don't go out and drink anymore. Like if I'm at home, then I do, because, I don't have to worry too much. But, having a set time, to do this or do that, that's just a way you can kind of condense things. Let's say you had, you had a lot of house chores you had to do. Like you always have house chores to do, right? So you set a time frame within the day to be able to accomplish some of that. And if you don't get to accomplish that goal fully within that hour or that 20 minutes or whatever you had to do it, you just kind of leave it to the next day, and then you work within that time frame. And so the reason I'm saying like balancing your life incorporates and works with time is because a lot of people, they just want to just have, they want to be able to figure out how they're going to organize all their stuff, because, that some days they might do the whole thing of this or do the whole thing of that. And they're like, oh, it's just so hard. And then they kind of crash after like a day or two because, they're just been overloaded. Whereas if you put certain things within a certain time frame, and only at this time and beyond, and before this end time limit comes, you can actually accomplish that goal, or at least try to accomplish that goal. So let's say, like, for example, I wanted to make this video and I didn't know what to say, which, a lot of times I'm just kind of like, it's coming off the top of my head. I don't have, like, I'm not a scripter. Like, I can't read off a script, like, and this is what that's not me. I'm more of an impromptu kind of person, especially when I, play my games and I do my strategy stuff. It's more like that. I don't really have a script to go along with it. Now, you might need a script, but let's say you are reading your script, you're trying to do your video, it doesn't come out the way you want it, you erase the video. This happens with content creators too. Like, a lot of people like to do all these particularly cut videos to make it super perfect, so it just kind of moves along at such a perfect incremental way. And I watch some of these videos, and I really personally, because I don't do that, I don't care for that. But if you're more of like an unedited kind of person, and then you put up a video like an hour later, you're like, oh, I really hate that, I'm going to delete it. But the time frame has passed for when you can actually make videos. Like, let's say me, for example, I have a certain time frame of when I try to make videos, or I try to make content or art or whatever. If the time frame passed, I got to wait till tomorrow. I got to wait till the next day. You're like, no, do it now. Make sure, if you don't set time limits for things, you can find yourself easily burned out, because you're trying to accomplish everything in one day, and you're so worn out, you're so tired the next day. I just can't do anything. You sit on a couch and you don't do much. This creates this giant, like, I'm going this far and then a crash. And I got to wait for some energy to come back for me to actually be able to go this far and then crash. You're more like a wave, going up and down with like what you can do and what you can accomplish. But if you set time frames as to when you can do this and when you can't do that, like, I'm coming up to one of my next time frames of when I'm just shutting down for the day and I'm just relaxing. So if I get to that time, I'm going to be like, okay, got to cut the video, I'm done. Of which I kind of like explain some of this stuff. But like, if we're going to talk about food, or we're going to talk about that sort of thing, like, I've tried some things to see, how I could lose some weight as well. And I found the best way so far, like, I fasted for like 5 days. I lost like 3 pounds just doing that. And if I kept doing it, well, obviously I'd keep losing more. But you can, you have to, a man's got to eat, so you can only fast for so long. If I was to say, like, if I want to incorporate a fasting day, what I'm going to try in the future here is I'm going to try 1 day a week. I just go on a strict water diet, just have water in a day. It won't be like a day I'm exercising or anything too much, but it's just going to be one of those off days. I'm just going to do something like that. And I'm going to have that set as my schedule. So, like, let's say you wanted to do, let's say you had a particular kind of diet that, you're a keto, or you were some kind of other type of diet, and, but you had off days, so that's where scheduling comes in. And so, like, if you want a balanced life, I'm just saying, best way to do it that most people don't talk about is setting schedules, but not just setting schedules, setting end times. So, like, 5 to 6, that's when you eat, at that time. You're going to have to still eat. So sometimes these schedules kind of push into each other. But let's say 5 to 6 you eat, and you do some extra work, that you want to do on the side, whatever it could be. Let's say you went out to eat because you were invited into, for something, and then you come home and the time is about to be over. Like, you can't do anything else within that time frame. You just have to leave it till the next day. Now, I have to precaution you, because if this is work related where you have to get this done, then you're going to have to cut into other time frames of things. So that could be a thing if you got schoolwork, or your work is like, you got to get this report filled out for tomorrow, and you wasted all this time. Yeah, you're going to have to break into some of your other timelines, because, probably don't want to lose your job, or you probably don't want to get an F or something like that. But for the most part, if you want to put other things in your life, I'm saying, like, there's certain obligations you have to make sure, your work, your family, your kids and all that. You got to make sure that that's all completed. But I'm talking about extra little time frames that you can fit into your life. What you're going to have to do is you're going to have to start with a schedule, whether you do it with your phone or whether you do it with your computer or you write it down or whatever helps you the best. You're going to have to do that. Whether you could even have an auditory pop up on your computer. You could have something like that. So yeah, that's what I wanted to talk about. I just want to make some helpful videos out there. I hope you enjoyed this. I could go more into this if you want to see more. Give me a like, give me a thumbs up. Let me know what you think. I'd like to hear your thoughts and all that. But yeah, also just expect to see more strategic content with Burgundy and other games and stuff that in there too. But I also wanted to kind of expand and do something like this because I'd like to make some other videos that aren't fully game related, just to I don't know, have fun with that. But thanks for watching, and I will talk to you later in the next video. Take care.